Pysanky, or Ukrainian Easter eggs, are intricate, colorful designs created on the eggshell through the layering of beeswax and dyes or etching. The geometric shapes, floral and animal figures, and even the eggs themselves are steeped in symbolism. Over 2,000 years ago, before the time of Christ, people decorated eggs, believing that great powers were embodied in the egg. To them, eggs symbolized the release of the earth from the shackles of winter and the coming of spring, with its promise of new hope, new life, and prosperity. With the advent of Christianity, Easter eggs symbolize the resurrection and the promise of eternal life. Now, legend has it that as long as Pysanky are decorated, goodness will prevail over evil throughout the world. Hi, my name is Susan Blubaugh, and I'm a member of Artists Own, which is a co-op gallery in Lafayette, Indiana. And I'm going to show you the process of making Ukrainian Easter eggs. First of all, I'd like to show you the materials needed to decorate the egg. First of all, we need our canvas, which is the eggshell. These are real eggshells. Traditionally, artists have used chicken eggs or goose eggs. But in recent times, artists have been experimenting with all different sizes of eggs, from a finch egg to the ostrich egg, and I even like to use some exotics, like the emu egg. Here's an emu egg straight from the emu, and this comes from our Columbian Park emu, Holly, which is a local emu here in Lafayette. And this is a design that has been etched into the emu egg. Now, other materials that we need are a pencil for sketching of design onto the egg, kiska and beeswax for actually writing the design onto the egg. Now, the word Pysanky comes from the Ukrainian word meaning literally to write, because you do write the designs onto the egg. Now, the first thing that I will do is get some guidelines drawn onto the egg, and I'll use a template in order to get my evenly divided quadrants on the eggs to set my vertical lines. I will use a tape measure to get a midpoint for the vertical line so that I have a horizontal line evenly dividing the egg in half. Now, after I do that, I'll write additional guidelines onto the egg, and then I will begin to sketch in, using my pencil, the general design of the egg. After I've done that, I'm ready to wax in the lines that I wish to be white. And let me show you that process. Using the kiska and the beeswax, I need to first of all heat my kiska, and I will scrape a bit of the beeswax into the top of the kiska. And this is actually a wax pen, because the wax will then flow out through the bottom of the kiska. Then I will write the design onto the egg. Now, I'm not as steady as I would with my elbows braced as I'm sitting down, but you get the general idea. I will wax in all the areas that I want to be white. And after I do that, I will have my design, and I'm ready to dip it into the next color of dye, which will be yellow. Generally, you dip the eggs in a progression of dyes going from light to dark. Now, after I've dipped the egg into the yellow dye, I will wax in all the yellow designs on the eggs, including the evergreen branches and the inner triangle and the little spokes in the middle of the star. And after I'm finished with that, I will then dip the egg into the orange dye and wax in all of the orange areas of the egg. And remember, any place where the wax touches the egg, the dye will not penetrate. So it's a batik method. And after I'm through with the orange egg, or waxing in all the areas of the orange egg, I will dip it into the red dye and then wax in all the red areas of the egg. And after I'm finished with that, I'm done with the general design of the egg, and I'm ready to dip it in the dark background color, which in this case will be black. Since this egg is empty, I need a weight in order to keep it into the dye, down into the dye, otherwise it will just float around on top. So I will dye the egg for a few minutes until it takes the black background. Now some of the wax has been removed from this egg, but after the background color has been dyed, I'm ready to remove the wax to reveal the design of the egg. So I will take my egg, and at the edge of the flame of my candle, I will melt the wax off, moving the egg back and forth so that it does not get too hot and scorch the egg. And when I begin to see the wax liquefying, I will wipe the wax from the egg, which reveals the design underneath. And this is the most fun part of the process. So I'll continue wiping the wax off. My next step is to use a solvent, in this case mineral spirits, which I dip in a piece of Kleenex and clean off all the pencil and soot and the remaining wax on the egg. After that, I will varnish the egg, and this is a UVA resistant varnish. Since the dyes are water soluble, they'll also fade in the sunlight, and it adds a protective finish to the egg. Here is the finished egg, which I've repurposed as a Christmas ornament. So that's basically the process of making the Ukrainian Easter egg. It's said that every egg offers a blessing and contains a story. All the geometric shapes, the floral shapes, and the animal shapes all tell a story. And if you're interested in that, I would go to the internet and look up some websites concerning Ukrainian Easter eggs, and that will give you more information about the stories contained in the eggs. Thank you very much for visiting.